10 live wires will be given a unique opportunity to share their creativity with the world and become the next top live wire. I'm your host, Heather Boyd Wire, and this is Live Wires for the Win. 8 weeks of wire art challenges will count down to one winner of the grand prize, a collaboration video on my YouTube channel, a $100 gift certificate for my Etsy shop, and $500 worth of wire and tools from Beadalon. This is an elimination series with a twist. Viewers will be able to participate in the weekly challenges, share photos of their work, and win great prizes. Your judges will be wire artist Heather Boyd, multimedia artist and author Patricia Srigley, and a weekly mystery judge. Let's meet this week's live wires. Tim, Peggy, Melody, Amber. Welcome everybody to week 7 of Live Wires for the Win, the semi-final. I can't believe we're already here. And today we have our regular judge, Patricia Srigley. Welcome back. Hello. And this week we have a very special guest judge. Oh my goodness, I haven't seen you in person like this, Katie, for years. This is my dear friend, Katie Argyle, a fellow artisan. I met Katie way back in the early 90s in the Byward Market in Ottawa. It was our first day selling in the Byward Market. Katie at the time was selling these cute little friendly plastic pins and earrings and all kinds of cool stuff. Wow, Katie, welcome.
Thanks, Heather.
I'm gonna give a little blurb about you, but first, the friendly plastic. Whatever happened to friendly plastic?
Oh, friendly plastic. I still have some. Most of them are now snappers because it's plastic, so plastic becomes brittle over time.
Yes.
Friendly plastic, I heard a story which doesn't sound like it could be true, but there apparently was one guy who was attaching the foil film to the top of the plastic sticks. It was like a sheet.
Yeah.
And that guy decided to retire, and so no one else could make it. And so they stopped making it. It's actually been out of production for about, I would say about 5 years. They tried to do, it could be longer. They tried to do a resurrection of friendly plastic, but they never quite got it right. It came out the same time as Fimo did, primarily marketed as jewelry for your frying pan. So not so attractive, but I loved it because there still isn't anything that beats the color of friendly plastic. And I loved working with it. It was a modeling material to me.
Yes.
And I made tiny miniature sculptures with this color that couldn't be beat.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm going to insert some pics of your old work. I was looking for the pieces I had of yours. I can't find them for the life of me. I know there was one piece that I actually put through the washing machine at one point and it got completely destroyed. It was a little bit fragile, but it was super cool. You'd like heat it and cut it and form it and super cool. Yeah.
I do miss it. I miss it.
Yeah. That's awesome. So let me tell everybody a little bit about what you're doing now. So fast forward to 2021, and that would be what, 30 years later, Katie?
30 years this year, Heather. 30
Amazing. So there we go. So yes, as I said, I met Katie at the Byward Market in the early 90s. Katie is a visual artist who is a painter, a potter, a printmaker. She creates colorful, fun items and loves it when people try new things and take on new challenges. She currently teaches pottery at a maker's space in Richmond Hill. She is part of the Hill Potters Guild and the Printmakers Collective. So that's Print PRNT, right?
Yeah.
That's the Print Collective is in Barrie, and you can currently see her work on Instagram at Katie Argyle 7. So welcome, Katie. So nice to have you here. Yes.
Thank you.
So guys, I can't believe it's the semi-final. Next week is our final. This week we have 4 contestants left, participants. We have Tim, Peggy, Amber, and Melody. And so without any further ado, let's get looking at the work. First, we have Amber. And Amber writes, finally, a subject that resonates with me. I chose to go back to my roots this week and make a 3-dimensional witchy style dragon head talisman. Dragons are my favorite mythical creature, and by chance, myself and my son are both Year of the Dragon on the Chinese calendar. I have made many dragons before, but they have always been 2D. I wanted to challenge myself to make a heady style dragon head. This time, I began making a sturdy frame for the head with 10 gauge hammered wire, then filled it in with a sodalite cabochon, carnelian eyes, and a variety of loopy motifs, weaving and coils. There is a spring set opal Swarovski on the forehead and spring set black diamond color Swarovskis that serve as the dragon's nostrils. For added depth, I patinaed the dragon in LOS and lightly buffed this with steel wool. So I'm going to start with Amber's work. So Amber definitely went all out with her piece this week. It's wonderful that it's a subject that really resonates with her. You can always tell the passion in the work when a subject resonates with the artist. I love her variety of different techniques and wires. Amber often does a little bit of hammering with her work that adds a lot of like nice little dimension to the little tendrils there, and the spirals are really cool, and the wraps, and nice that it's a really statement piece necklace. We've had different works in this challenge, jewelry, sun catchers, art, and it's a lovely piece. I can certainly see somebody wearing this. And the only thing that I would say with Amber's piece was at first I didn't actually see the eyes. So I really had a lot of trouble deciphering that it was a dragon head. Like I understood that, it could be sort of a symbolic dragon head, but until I really saw those eyes, I had a lot of trouble seeing it. But once I saw the red eyes, I would definitely envision them being larger. Like if she had made those eyes bigger, it would have just smacked me in the face. I would have been able to tell that it was a dragon head, but not seeing that at first. Like my critique would just be to have some larger red pieces for the eyes, and maybe even make them slanted, because right now they're more vertical, and I think if they were just out a little bigger, it would make a huge difference. But beautiful piece, Amber, lovely. And Patricia, what did you think of Amber's piece?
I had noted a lot of the same things as you. I mean, the design is beautiful and sophisticated, and it really looks archaic, which fits with the dragon theme. And I loved her variety of working with wire, the coils, especially those coiled nostrils, and the flattened wires at the top, and just beautiful. But I guess I saw it first as a pattern and then as a dragon, because like you said, the eyes were smaller, and especially in comparison to the blue stone between them, which is quite large and dominant.
Yeah.
So if the eyes had been bigger, or that blue stone smaller and less dominant, it would have been seen, I think, as a dragon first.
Yes.
And, but I loved the piece, and I loved the size of it, and it would be so fun to wear.
Yes, definitely. Awesome. And Katie, what did you think of Amber's piece?
The first thing that came to mind is I was picturing this being sold on the shopping network, and how they would say, "This is a showstopper." That's what I thought. But if you wore this dragon necklace anywhere, you'd be the center of attention. That's for sure. But I had the same trouble as both of you with the eyes. I found that in the design there are two sort of loop shapes, kind of up above where the eyes are, and my eyes kept going there. And I think also what you, Patricia, said about the large stone kept drawing me into that area. I kept seeing those circular areas, and it wasn't until I read her description that I realized that the carnelian stones were the eyes. But once I saw them, I couldn't unsee them. So now I always see it as a dragon. So it's curious to me. It just says that she's put a lot of detail and attention in that top area that kept my eye there, which is really good. But like what you say, it needs to be a bit balanced and drawn down. So maybe a contrasting stone even around where the red is, just to bring your own eyes down. But
Right.
it's beautiful work. It has so much detail and so many different textures were explored. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree with you. The textures are phenomenal, like a really nice variety. And yeah, I think we all agree about the eyes for sure. So now we're going to go to Peggy. Peggy writes, man, oh man, I have always loved mystical creatures. I honestly wanted to make every single one. I went way out of my element here. I've never done a sculpture before. Mystical creatures have to be absolutely amazing. I worked every minute I could to get it done. I decided on a unicorn named Lily and a fairy named Fern. Fairies are so fun to make. Both names are my daughter's name. A unicorn is a mystical creature that is very hard to catch. They are very fast, can heal illness, and can purify water. A fairy is a mystical creature that have magical powers, are very loving and full of energy. There are different types of fairies, but the one I made is a fairy of animals. In this sculpture, Lily is having a rough day, so she went to Fern's house, where Fern put beautiful roses in Lily's mane and held her face in her hands, looking for a smile. I love them so much. Beautiful. So, Patricia, why don't you start with Peggy's piece?
Yeah, I really loved the details of the swirlies on the body of the unicorn, and the flowers in the mane, and how the mane and tail are those loose wires which make them seem very hairy. And the scene really is so endearing, the little fairy holding the face. And she could have stopped with one creature, but she added the fairy and the little house. And no, I thought it was so beautiful. And the variety again of textures and how the wire is done is just lovely. I think she even did crocheting on the top of that little fairy house.
Yes, she gave us I'll insert the in progress photos. She did a lot of different stages to get to this point for sure.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Nice. And Katie, what did you think of Peggy's piece?
I really liked the story, and that there's a interaction between two elements of her sculpture. I liked that. I had a bit of trouble figuring out where the fairy ends and where the house begins. I'm not all that familiar with fairies and fairy houses, so I wasn't sure if the house was a mushroom. I wasn't sure if I had to really, really look at it. It wasn't totally clear to me. But once I saw it again, once I saw where the fairy legs kind of ended on top of the house, and then, or actually the fairy's actually standing on the unicorn,
Yes.
which is really nice. It's really nice. So, and then with the gentleness of the hands around the unicorn's face, I thought, this is quite a delicate, soft scene. And it seemed to me that the way that she used the wire was also kind of delicate and kind of light, and sort of goes with the theme that she's talking about. And I really like the added detail where she mentions that she puts roses in the unicorn's mane, and there was a rose sitting below on the house. I just like that. To me, it said that it was thoughtful, and that she had thought to bring in that house into the scene by tying it together with the roses. So for me, it feels like a complete sculpture.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. It's there's so much in this piece. I really sometimes with the photographs, it's hard to tell the details too. Yes. So there's always that aspect of it, because now looking at the photo, it almost looks like she's suspended, which she might be. If we had a side view, we might be able to tell, like maybe she's actually flying and holding, like supported by, like holding his muzzle. I can't really tell. That would be super cute if she was. And it's true. At first I had trouble seeing the fairy, but like I said, I think it's the photograph. I love, well, there's a lot of things I love about this piece. One is like, kudos Peggy for doing a 3-dimensional freestanding piece. She's definitely out of her comfort zone, doing something different. Peggy usually does quite a bit of detail, but more like a 2-dimensional like silhouette type thing. Wow, it's not easy to get things to stand. And I love like standing on its back, his hind legs, and then also supported by the little house, which could be a mushroom house. We don't know what it is. But yeah, all the details, pops of color with the roses, beautiful variety of tones of wire, you know, with her contrasting hair, the mane, the tail, and then those straight lines reflected in the little fairy house as well. So there's repetition, really interesting in that way. And the story, I mean, Mythical Creatures is all about storytelling, and this one completely tells the story about, you know, the fairy comforting the unicorn. And I know it's very personal. She's used her daughter's name, and just knowing about Peggy and her daughter and their relationship. And there's so much love in this piece. I just, yeah, there's a lot of beauty. Yeah, congratulations, Peggy. It's a beautiful piece. Next, we have Tim. So Tim writes, for this week, I focused on the fact of mythological as not real per se and made up my own little creature. As I said in one of my video clips, it was going to be the star of the week, star being a rock star. The whole premise was not to overthink this week's theme and just kick back and have fun and enjoy myself.
Hi, this is going to be my week 7 mythical creature. As you can see, it's gonna be a little sizable joker. Let's just say when I'm done, he's gonna be the star of the week, and I'll explain more in my final summary. Here's my creature, how it's coming so far. I just gotta start filling in more wire for color, and hopefully he'll live up to the expectations I have for it. Here's my little creature. Turned into a big creature, filled in. Now the next time you'll see him will be the finished piece with all the accessories I plan to make for him. Say bye, George. Bye, George.
But I'm going to get Katie to start with Tim. So Katie, what did you think of Tim's piece?
I really like this. His construction was fascinating to me. It looks like it's a fairly big size. It looks really sturdy. I like that he created the creature, and then he added the color on top, so he was going from stage to stage. So I enjoy progress images. So that was good. I like that. I loved the details. There are many details here. I liked the freestanding mic. I liked the I loved that he made a guitar strap. He didn't have to. He could have woven that guitar into, and perhaps there's some support there, but you can see the guitar strap. And I really like the amp or speaker that's beside him. I love the eyes. I like the eyes when they go up above. I love that. So I like that. And it looked like he was in action, like he was singing or talking to his crowd or his fans. My only critique is that I feel like the feet were not considered. So everything else was considered to me, and everything was there. And he made he did such good work on the hands, and everything was so detailed. Yet the feet just felt like they were not done or not thought about. I really saw that as a tripod that held up the sculpture. And I think that as in the semifinals, that there should have been some attempt, maybe even just a few toes, or even just a triangle in front that would make it look like he was wearing a pointy boot. Something like that would have finished it for me. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I mean, that's a very small to me, that's a very small critique of this piece that is just, I really liked it. I liked it a lot.
Nice. Awesome. And Patricia, what did you think of Tim's piece?
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was really fun and humorous, and I had a different take on it because it's an alien. I assumed it had no feet, that it was more like a slug alien.
Oh.
And I just recently read a book, an old sci-fi book, Agent to the Stars, where slug-shaped aliens come to Earth and hire an agent to promote them to humans because they look so different, because they look like slugs.
Cool.
And, so I saw this as a character out of the book.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah. And the mic and the music and the guitar details, they're beautiful. That mic is amazing.
Yes.
And yeah, I thought it was fun and well done. And yeah, I really thought it was very humorous.
Yeah, no, it's a super fun one. I am so impressed with Tim this week. Every week, I push Tim to stretch a little bit more out of his comfort zone. Tim does beautiful medallion style, kind of more two-dimensional pieces. His work is always very solid, well constructed. And the minute I got the first clip of him building this three-dimensional creature, I'm like, go Tim, I thought that was really cool. I actually the feet part didn't super bother me. It could have also been like a cloak or something, but interesting observation, Katie. Yeah, I get where you're coming from. The claws are super cool too. So you might expect like to be a similar toe thing happening, but I like your explanation of the slug alien. I think that's super cool. And I love that this mythical creature is a more like futuristic sci-fi creature. Mythology doesn't have to be like ancient mythology. It could be like almost like an urban mythical creature. And I loved his rock star thing, all the details, the accessories, the guitar, and true, he looks like he's in action. His mouth is open, he's singing, he's got his mic. And another one that would be cool to, play around with, move around the pieces and stuff. And the eyes are awesome, and they kind of are reflected in the mic, the beads, and then the bead and the mic, and the amp, and even the detail on the amp of the spiral kind of indicating sound coming out of the amp. I think he's really thought it out super well. I love his little pops of color, bit of red, bit of green, and the black. It just gives it a nice contrast. So I thought Tim did a great job, and really worked hard at constructing a three-dimensional creature, and unique, very unique for sure. Next we have Melody. So Melody writes, my mythical creature is a centaur titled Warrior Woman. She is strong and guards her world well with her blinged out bow and arrow.
So she is Warrior Woman, and it's for all the women warriors out there doing their thing in their businesses and in their families and homes. And I've got a bow with lots of pretty jewels in there for her. And she stands with her tail and her two legs, kind of a tripod thing.
Yeah, Melody indicated that she did sort of a tripod stand to get her creature to stand out. And I thought that worked. That was really effective and it's funny that we had two people that submitted a creature standing on its hind legs. So I thought that was really cool, and how the Peggy and Melody used different ways to get them to stand. The tripod technique is great, standing on with 3 points on the ground. So that worked well. Standing with the tail and the hind legs was really interesting. Melody has done fairies before with that technique. With its, we call it like a chaos wrap, where you take the wire and you wind it around, and it fills out the form quite well to make it more three-dimensional. I like the feet, how they're really wound around like a lot of wire on the feet to make them look more clunky and solid type of thing. I would say the issue I have with this piece is it's all like sort of the same color. So at first I had a lot of trouble deciphering even the head, just because it didn't stand out so well. And like I said before, like sometimes it's the photos, it's hard to tell from the photograph, but I really feel that it could have used more variety, or to maybe tighten up some areas to make it a little more defined, so we could see more clearly what it was. And the bow and arrow in itself is really nice. It's a nice piece. But I found as a whole, maybe just to have a little bit more definition, and the hair too. The hair is sort of interesting with the twist, but it might have been nice to have like maybe even more hair or something. It's just, I find it a little bit, I'm not sure what those two little twisty braid things are. Maybe they are braids. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, interesting piece. Maybe the head's a little small. I don't know. There's something about the head. It's possible that it's a little bit small and it's just like kind of wound around like that, so it doesn't read as a head as well. But as a freestanding piece, she was very successful in making it freestanding. For sure. I like the shadow in the photo too. I like when people take a photo and then you kind of see the shadow as well. Very interesting. So Katie, what did you think of Melody's piece?
I really liked it. I when I looked at it, I had the feeling that it was defying gravity. So I like it. I like it when a sculpture feels like I don't automatically understand how it's doing what it's doing. So so I like the construction. I loved that chaos wire, the way that it works, and given her topic, I thought that it was a very appropriate way of working the wire for this. So seeing it kind of all over just reminded me of like energy flow and energy going here, and she's like revving up, and I don't know what she's aiming at or what she's gonna slay, but she's about to do something. I would have liked a little bit more color contrast between some of the elements. I'm not really bothered by the head or the all one color. Especially, I went back to read what kind of mythical creature it was, and it's a centaur. So I thought, oh, okay, they can all be one color. Although now thinking of other centaur images, they're usually the human is one color and the body of the horse is a different color. But I don't know. I liked it. I liked the hair. The hair sort of seemed to me it was leading, like the energy was in the hair leading this centaur where they were gonna go or what they were gonna pursue. I took a very close look at the bow and the construction of the bow. Amazing, just amazing.
Yeah,
And I'm really glad that she treated the bow in a different fashion from the other elements of this. Maybe that's all it might have needed in the body part is, although I really love the chaos wire, perhaps just a different type of wire working might have helped just to separate or to make it more defined. But I really enjoyed this piece. I thought it was really good, and it is difficult to get something to stand like that, and especially. I wish I had a second picture of it from a different angle, because I'm wondering if it's even slanted, because with that bow, though I know wire is not that heavy, it does have some gems and it could be a little off center, and she's still making it stand, which is pretty good construction. I admire that. I think it's very well done.
Nice. And Patricia, what did you think of Melody's piece?
Again, similar to what you've both said, I thought the pose with all its movement was very beautiful, but I was put off by the overall treatment and the wire being more or less the same color for most things, especially with the chaos wire, which makes it, a bit harder to read sometimes. So yeah, I felt the pose and movement were beautiful, but that got a bit lost in the overall monochromatic figure and the chaos wire. But and the bow is beautiful. Yeah, and more hair. Yeah, more hair is always nice.
So now comes the fun part. We are going to choose a winner of this week's challenge. And as always, everybody's a winner. The pieces up to date, especially this week, have been amazing. You guys are nailing it every single week. And also a reminder that viewers can participate in the challenge. You just have to hop over to the Facebook page, Livewires for the Win. I'll link it up in the description. And viewers can submit photos of their work based on the weekly themes. And if you guys make all 8 themes, you're eligible to win all kinds of cool prizes from Beadalon and my Etsy shop. And viewers, no worries, we are not judging your work. It's going to be a random draw of all the people that submit all 8 images. If you don't have Facebook, just email me images of all 8 pieces by the deadline. Details are in the description. So guys, let's start by, we're going to give our top 2. And if we can't come with a consensus, we'll go to our top 3. And so let's go around and give our top 2. So Patricia, why don't you start with your top 2?
Okay, my top 1 was Amber and my second top 1 was Peggy.
So then we're going to go to Katie. Who was your top 2 for this week's challenge?
If I think construction variety and all that stuff, then I have to say Amber. So much, so many skills in there.
Yeah.
And I would say for thought-wise and thinking over and interpreting the theme, I have to say Peggy.
Perfect. Okay. So now I'm going to give my top 2 and hope we come with a consensus. So my top this week was actually Tim. I was super impressed with how he just like went for it and was thinking, you know, outside of the box, went, you know, beyond his comfort zone. I like that his was super different from everybody else's. Kudos, Tim. I thought you did a great job. And my second one was Peggy, because I loved her story and I loved all the elements of her piece, so well thought out. Like she said, she wasn't sure she'd even have enough time to complete it, but she did this beautiful work of art in less than a week. So this week's winner is Peggy. Yay, Peggy. Awesome. Now comes the hard part, where we sadly have to say goodbye to one person. And this is always the hardest part of the show, but the nature of an elimination show. Everybody's a winner, and we hope that the person going home today will continue right till the bitter end, submit all their photos, and to be eligible to win prizes in the draw as well, and continue sharing your beautiful work in the Livewires for the Win Facebook group and in the Wire Makers Club on Facebook as well. So let's just go for this. And why don't we start with you, Katie, for the 2 that you are considering to go home today, which would be just the 2 that aren't at the top of the list. How to say this diplomatically?
The 2 that aren't at the top of the list then are Tim and Melody, which is very hard for me to say.
Yeah. Perfect. And Patricia, the 2 that aren't at the top of your list.
I had a hard time this week, but I guess I struggled most with Melodies.
Okay. Yeah. Just for all the reasons that we spoke about. Yeah, for sure. And me too. I had Amber simply because I had trouble deciphering what it was when I first looked at it. And I think that kind of threw me for a loop. Although her piece is spectacular, I think if she just made the eyes bigger, and it's not too late to change that, bigger a little bit on an angle, I think that little simple tweak would make night and day difference in her piece. But sadly, Melody, yes, I agree that it was just a little bit too much chaos this week, and her work up to date has been consistently amazing. I think she's won like 3 times, something like that. So yeah, so Melody, sadly, your journey on Livewires for the Win ends today, but your work has been incredible. I follow her on TikTok. She does cool videos with her work on TikTok. Be sure to check out her work. And Melody, be sure to participate in the last challenge as well. Submit your pics on the Live Wires for the Win Facebook page. And of course, Melody's in the Wire Makers Club as well. So we see her work there as well, which is wonderful. So guys, that's it for the semifinals. Thank you, Patricia, for consistently coming on every week and your great feedback and ideas and all that. And Katie, oh my goodness, it was so amazing to see you. Oh, this is one of these full circle moments, right? Yeah, when we met, I was like a struggling artist, street vendor type, trying to pay my bills and make my art. And now we're both doing so many like really fun and cool, interesting stuff and teaching. I think we're both passionate teachers. And Patricia too, you're a passionate teacher and artist. And wow, this has been amazing.
I just want to say, Heather, I think this is awesome that you've done this and brought your talents to such a wide audience. That people are lucky to find you. They're lucky to find you, and it's really great that you're doing this. I really congratulate you because I know how much work this is.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure. And it really goes along with my philosophy that when we teach, we learn. And I really feel that with every time I put out a tutorial, every time I share my work, there's all that feedback interaction. And I really feel that, life is a learning process. And I'm just, happy to be on this creative ride. It's really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's great to encourage people. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you on the finals next week. Bye.
Bye.
Cool. Thank you so much for tuning in to Live Wires for the Win. Be sure to tune in each week and participate in the challenges on our Facebook event page. If you complete all 8 challenges based on the weekly themes, you will be eligible to win all kinds of great prizes from Beadalon. Details are in the description below underneath the video.